Hey everybody, this is Ethan Andes, owner of Andes Roofing, and I'm super excited to tell you all that I am about to start a video series on the most common roofing problems that I keep seeing, that roofers keep doing. And I want to just, spread my knowledge and what I've learned through the years and what I've seen on roofs that we've torn off that have been done incorrectly, and how we can fix those problems going forward and make the homeowner ultimately a better roofing system and more peace of mind. And so to start that off, I want to show you all the first thing. And what this is called drip edge. So this little piece of aluminum right here, this piece of aluminum is extremely important. And so it's actually a 10-foot long piece of this is about $4.63, or maybe a little more, a little less, depending on your market. But it has an extremely important job. And so where this goes is on a roof system. If we look here, where the roof comes down to the bottom here, it is what protects the bottom of the wood, where the water runs down the shingles and it can come around and drip or get on the gutter board. This little piece of aluminum goes right there and protects that from happening. And so what we see a lot of times when we re-roof a house is guys that have done the roof previously, if it's had more than one roof installation on it previously, is they will reuse the old drip edge, which probably was from the new construction roof, and it'll have all these little nail holes all the way down it, and then it'll have the nail holes from the drip edge that's actually holding it onto the roof. And so when you do that, you essentially defeat the purpose of why you have the drip edge on there, because it's supposed to protect from water and then ice from getting up underneath those shingles and rotting out that strip of board right here. And so when you don't do that correctly and you don't tear off the old drip edge, then you can essentially rot this gutter board, or rot this decking board out, which in essence could rot this gutter board out, and then ultimately your gutters could fall off. You could have, right now wood prices are ridiculous, and so we definitely don't want that to happen to anybody. And this is more of a long-term problem, not a short-term problem. And most roofers want to get in, get out, maybe a day, 2 days, and they don't want to think that the homeowner has to deal with this for the next 15, 20, 30 years. And it's one of those quick things that doesn't cost a lot of money to change, and you can save a homeowner a whole lot of money in wood damage, especially right now with wood prices being as ridiculous as they are. This is kind of a big deal. So we always replace the drip edge on every single job, and then when you put this drip edge on here, this is one of my pet peeves, because when you put drip edge on a roof, this right here is a synthetic underlayment, and so it's a water, a water vapor barrier, not necessarily vapor barrier, but it's it kind of keeps the water out. This one specifically is called GAF Tiger Paw. It has a permeability rating that's a little bit higher than some of the synthetics out there that are more, water dispersing, and they want to keep it out. This can let some through and it will breathe a little bit better. And so if you've done a house envelope survey and they're talking about, how much pressure you have, a lot of the synthetics now, if you do not ventilate your roof correctly and you're putting, let's say it's a 1x8 roof with the little slats in the decking, that allows it to breathe and move. And then if you put that synthetic over top of it, it can't get that moisture that might be trapped in there out of there. And so if you use something like this, or which would be the next step up, which is called deck armor, it's kind of a light blue color, it will allow more moisture to come up through and get out. And it's kind of like a siding vapor barrier where it'll let it out, but it doesn't really let it in. We've actually tested this. We have a test of this specific underlayment going on right now, where we've taken a water bottle, we've taken a huge section of it and just poured the whole water bottle onto it and tried to see if it would soak down through. And it hasn't. It keeps it out. And so we're gonna let that sit for quite a while and see what happens. But back to the drip edge, you want to, on your eaves, you want to make sure that the synthetic underlayment, this is another issue that I see, the synthetic underlayment that guys put down, they want to take it and put the drip edge over top of it, because to them, it looks more crisp and it holds it down, keeps it from wrinkling, and it just kind of locks it in there like that. The problem with this is that this is not an approved method from the manufacturer on the eaves. What you want to do is you want to actually put this on and then put this over top of it. And the reason why is if water does get in up here underneath these shingles, it can run down and in theory go into the gutter here below. And so the manufacturer wants you to do it this way. That's the way that we install on every single job. But when you come to what's called the rake, which is this diagonal area right here, the difference on that is you want to go actually over top of the synthetic here. And the reason why for that is, let me turn this here a little, is because if you get wind-driven rain coming in here like this, you want that wind-driven rain to be able to come in underneath your shingles, if it does, and go and run down and go out. As opposed to if you have it like this, it can go in and blow in there and get on your decking, which will rot out this OSB. So OSB, plywood, one buys, they all have their pros and cons, but that's a subject for a different video. But what we have here is on the rakes, per the manufacturer, in their Profield, guys, Owens Corning has one, GAF has one, I believe CertainTeed has something like that, that they want it on your rakes, they want it over top of the synthetic, and on your eaves, they want it underneath of your synthetic. And so that's a huge deal there. And kind of to summarize on this video, what you want drip edge for is because it will protect from water and from ice, where it will come down and it will rot out this bottom board right here. So we definitely don't want that to happen, especially wood prices as ridiculous as they are right now. Nobody wants to replace wood on their roof if they have a roof replacement done. And so what we want to do is if we do a roof for the homeowner, we want to make sure that when we leave, they don't have problems down the road. And so a lot of workmanship warranties, they don't last that long, and they do that by design because we can get in, get out, put it right here, it doesn't really matter, and we just kind of run with it. And then they leave the homeowner in bad shape, but the homeowner doesn't know, and it's not usually an issue that shows up in, you know, the first year or two. It's 5-10 years down the road, it starts rotting these out, and then their gutter boards start rotting underneath that, and then the gutters start pulling away, and the homeowner thinks they need new gutters, but really it was because of the roofer came in and he didn't install his drip edge correctly. And very simple, very cheap fix. Always replace your drip edge, Mr. Roofers, and then do it correctly with the approved underlayments. I think we as roofers, most of us have gotten away from using tar paper. I'm not a tar paper fan. Some roofers say 5 years, some roofers say 10 years. I've seen both, so I say from 5 to 10 years. What happens is that tar paper underneath the shingles, like the sun is beating down, and underneath the shingles it is sweating that tar paper. And what that does is it makes all of the resins that make that tar paper waterproof just start to sweat out, and essentially over time it just becomes paper again, which is not really even a water vapor barrier at all. It's basically having a piece of paper underneath of your shingles. And so most roofers, us especially, we've moved to synthetic underlayments. They're a much better water vapor barrier underneath of your shingles. And so get a very good synthetic underlayment. We do a lot of research, a lot of testing on the products that we use. We use GAF Felt Buster, Rhino, we use GAF Tiger Paw, depending on the circumstances. And a lot of it has to do with the ventilation, building envelopes, all of that kind of stuff plays into the products that we use, because we want to use the best products for that specific circumstance. And so I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something a little bit about drip edge. We've talked about a couple different things that we'll elaborate on more in different videos, but stay tuned, and we hope you all liked it.